#1 in Southern California. Channel 7, KABC-TV, Los Angeles. Now, the Southland's leading news, Eyewitness News, at 11.
Prostitution on the streets of Orange County. The mayor of Stanton draws the line tonight. Good evening, everybody. It's now the 11 o'clock hour. Larry Carroll reports on what one official is doing to push the world's oldest profession away from his city limits.
It's a scourge upon this small community that's been growing for 6 months or more. Prostitution, flushed out of neighboring Anaheim and Garden Grove, has come to flourish in full view on Beach Boulevard. For blocks, the prostitutes, their pimps, work their johns virtually in full public view, seemingly confident that nothing can or will be done about it. The city's best effort began just this week. They painted these curbs red along Beach Boulevard and installed these no stopping signs in hopes it would keep the johns from stopping long enough to talk to the prostitutes. It's changed the way they do business, but it's only moved it a little farther down the street. Merchants are not all of one voice on the subject, but a growing number are becoming fed up.
Daily, they're bothering our customers. They work out here 24 hours a day. There's no relentless into it. They just, anybody that drives up here, they're whistling and cowing to and trying to get to pull over.
Mayor Sal Sapien is as fed up as he is frustrated. Tonight he initiated a symbolic one-man picket protest and called for help from the state, the county, and the media.
At any given time, you can see from 40 to 60 prostitutes walking our streets. And if we have 3 patrolmen at night, they are just simply being overwhelmed.
Larry Carroll, Channel 7 Eyewitness News in Stanton.
A respected forensic dentist from Canada has made the startling suggestion that Hitler might not have killed himself in his bunker in 1945, as the world now believes. At a conference on forensic science in San Diego, Dr. Robert Dorian compared Hitler's dental records with photographs of his charred remains. The conclusion, the body was not Hitler's because the remains showed more teeth than the dental chart.
More teeth in Adolf Hitler's mouth than you have in the corpse. You could say that one of those teeth were extracted, but the reverse could not be true.
Is that the case?
Yes, it is.
As you might expect, Dr. Dorian's remarks at the conference were greeted with widespread skepticism.
Many of his remarks were based on photographs that were either enlargements that were not showing a great deal of clarity. And I think some of his conclusions did not totally add up.
If Hitler were still alive, he'd be 97 years old. But today, nearly all experts believe that he did, in fact, die on April 30th, 1945.
Tony, the Orange County sheriffs say they're still trying to notify the next of kin of a man who was killed when a bomb destroyed a car in Laguna Hills this morning. The man found beside the car, which was shattered by the blast at 8:10 this morning. Besides the victim, there were no other injuries, but the blast really shook the area.
All I'm aware of.
2 explosions, one right after another, and all of us jumped out. I mean, I was picking up tools, and it practically threw the tools out of my hands. It was that loud.
The car was registered to Hal Vincent of Lake Forest, but police say he was not the victim. They are checking the possibility the victim was himself, the bomber. They're also checking whether this incident may be connected with a bomb that blew up beside a car Monday in Mission Viejo. It is a nightmare that recalls man's deepest fears, being attacked by a wild animal. That is just what happened to a 5-year-old Yorba Linda boy. Eric Shalene was walking with a friend in a canyon right behind his home. 2 coyotes started following them. They tried to run. One of the coyotes leaped out and bit Eric on his thigh and ankles. He is now undergoing rabies treatments, and his mother is demanding that something be done so her family doesn't have to live in fear. The reason for the attack is still a mystery tonight. Normally, coyotes shy away from people. Tony?
And Paul, the city of Los Angeles is getting ready to crack down on dog owners who break the law and cause problems for everybody else. Lonnie Lardner has the story.
Most dogs are not a problem, nor are their loving owners. But after numerous complaints and over 1 million dog bites reported nationally this past year, tougher laws are on their way. Under the new ordinances, which will face the city council next week, a suspected problem dog owner can be called to a mandatory administrative hearing.
We could impound the dog for an assessment of its temperament. We could call the owners in for a hearing and then make certain recommendations and in fact requirements for that owner to adhere. In other words, if the dog is potentially vicious, we could require that person to take it to a recognized dog trainer approved by us.
Suspected dangerous dogs could end up here at the city pound for observation and face ultimate destruction, but only if the owner of a biting dog refuses to abide by the city's requests.
It certainly needs something like that in a lot of cases, provided they make sure that, you know, the people that have gotten bitten or are complaining are not just taking their spite out because they don't like dogs.
A lot of people that you run into, they all, even with my dog, they'll come up and, well, my dog is so, you know, he'll attack your dog. For what? You know, why have a dog like that? What happens when they bite a kid?
The city hopes these new laws will encourage responsibility among pet owners and at least make them accountable for their dog's whereabouts. In Griffith Park, Lonnie Lardner, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
San Fernando Valley authorities tonight are looking for 2 dogs who caused a tragic accident in Chatsworth. The dogs, running wild, chased nearly 200 stampeding sheep over a 100-foot cliff to their deaths. 2 of those sheep did survive the fall, but they were so badly injured the Department of Animal Regulation had to put them to sleep. The dogs, described as shepherd mixes, have not been caught. If found, their owners could be liable for up to 3 times the value of the sheep. That's an estimated $60,000 in fines.
Johnny, other news tonight. Scientists at the Scripps Institute in La Jolla today proudly showed off the videotape they shot on an expedition to an erupting volcano 30 miles from Hawaii. Now, many experts believe this slowly building peak will eventually become the next Hawaiian island. For 9 days this month, scientists studied the volcano from the research submarine Alvin, more than 3,000 feet below the surface. A shimmering crimson fairy palace, that's how they described it. Lava was covered with a strange fluffy red bacteria never seen before. Supercarbonated water poured forth bubbling like champagne. They also found a strange rare deep water fish, only the second of its species ever seen by man, with frog-like legs, sharp fang-like teeth, and a movable lure between the eyes to attract its prey, said one scientist, and I quote, "Ugliest fish I've ever seen." Johnny?
And I think that picture backs that up. Okay, Paul. Still ahead right here on Eyewitness News, Gary Franklin with a report on the controversy over Cosby star Lisa Bonet's X-rated movie. But next up, part 1 of our special series on the war against illegal drugs. That's next. 11 people were arraigned in federal court today on charges of selling cocaine while they were working at the post office in Van Nuys. All of the accused pleaded not guilty when they appeared before a federal magistrate. Their bail was set at $5,000. Authorities say some employees at the post office tipped them off that powder and rock cocaine were being sold there in small amounts. Postal inspectors and LAPD conducted an undercover operation for several months, and it resulted in those arrests last night and today. Conviction on the charges could result in 15 years in prison and fines up to $125,000.
Tony, as you know, the President and the Congress are calling for a national war on drugs, saying we have got to cut the demand in this country. But while the leaders of this country are calling for an end to the drug abuse problem, a new deadly drug wave is flooding the streets. It's called crack cocaine. As we begin our special series on crack, we'll examine the allure of this dangerous drug and see how police are trying to fight the crack epidemic.
It's called crack cocaine, a deadly fad so hot it's estimated some 2,000 people a day try it for the first time.
We have never seen a phenomenon that has come on the scene so fast, so widespread, and so devastating to the addictive quality that we have no yardstick to measure.
Powdered cocaine is easily converted into crack using common household materials. The chemical reaction turns the powder into a crystal, which is smoked.
The rush is quicker and it's higher.
The smoke goes directly to the brain in about 5 to 15 seconds. The high is intense, but it only lasts 3 to 5 minutes, leaving the user craving more. We've scrambled this man's picture and altered his voice to protect his identity. He's used crack, and he's seen it sold, and says the high profit margin is an almost irresistible enticement.
Say $2,700 and bring them back profit of about $25,000.
In nearly every major city in the country, crack has become the #1 target of narcotics investigators. Before Detroit narcs raided this alleged crack house, it was believed to be moving about $10,000 of crack a day.
There's probably a major distributor or supplier who's supplying a number of houses like this, and they'll bring a medium to moderate amount at a time into each house, so that if it is hit, like we just hit this house today, there's not a real substantial loss to that organization.
Along with the increase in use has come an equally alarming increase in the number of deaths. In 1981, there were 195 cocaine-related deaths around the country. In 1985, there were more than 600. Some experts say crack accounts for a lot of the increase. Police say one reason crack is so hard to control is the large number of small dealers. We'll take a look at what some are calling the nation's largest cottage industry as our series continues. This is Chris Hansen reporting.
Still ahead, Johnny Mountain with the forecast, including everything from warm sun to cold rain. But next up, Ted Dawson with sports, including a new world track record and a very big night for the Lakers' big man. Ted.
The Lakers invade the Windy City.
I tell you, they met up with a great superstar there, Paul. Lakers continue their road trip tonight in the home, as Paul mentioned, of Air Jordan. Let's get right to the action in Chicago. It was superstar against superstar. Second quarter, Kareem feeds Magic. He blows down the lane, the jam for 2 of his 28. But the Bulls' answer was guess who? Michael Jordan going baseline for the slam. Lakers lead 53-48 at the half. Pat Riley looking for a blowout in the second. And when James Worthy feeds the trailer, AC Green on the break, Lakers lead by 9. We go to the fourth quarter. Watch this move by Jordan. Watch this. All right. Woohoo! It's 94-88. The Lakers answer. It's Scott to Magic to Worthy. It's 96-87 Lakers. Back comes Jordan. The turnover. The breakaway. 33 points for Jordan. It's 98-94. But the Lakers go to their superstar. Into the captain. Kareem with the sky hook. It's 100-94. That gives Kareem 36,000 career points. Another milestone and another win. Lakers, as you see, 110, Chicago 100. Clippers are playing what is seemingly the only team they can beat tonight. Denver's in town. Let's get right to it. Typically great night for this guy, Alex English. Watch this baseline jumper right there. 2 of his 40. The Nuggets are up by 1 after 3 periods. Back come the Clippers. Larry Drew. Alley-oop to Bernard Benjamin. We're all tied at 90. Then the Clips pull away. Benjamin with a block on English. Fast break. Out it goes to Kenny Fields. 18 for Kenny as the Clippers win at 121-107. But Fields had to be helped off the floor. Sprained right calf. Yet another Clipper injury. Let's go to the NBA scoreboard where Indiana edges Atlanta while Philadelphia lays a little hurt on Sacramento. Just 2 other games on the schedule. Dallas outruns San Antonio. Washington knocks off Utah. The second of LA's big indoor track meets was held tonight. Let's get right to the forum. Record-breaking night for this guy. Ireland's chairman of the board, Eamon Coughlin, running away with the men's 2,000 meters. He set a new world indoor best, 4 minutes, 54.07 seconds. Steve's got a badly beaten fourth. Eamon gets the best present of all right there from his son. Men's 60-meter hurdles near upset. Record holder Greg Foster gets off to a terrible start. Running third, but comes back to beat Mark McCoy. Still a new American record, 7.48 seconds. Major upset in the women's 200. In the stretch, Grace Jackson hangs on to knock off Olympic gold medalist Valerie Briscoe. It was Jackson's first win ever over Valerie. Finally tonight, there's a brand new leader atop the Los Angeles Open Golf Tournament, a guy by the name of Bill Sanders. You probably haven't heard too much of him. This is Seve Ballesteros right there, but they're all trying to catch Sanders. He is at 6 under par. Ballesteros, by the way, is at 3 under par. There you see the leaderboard. Sanders, Rick Fair, Danny Edwards, T.C. Chen, 1 shot off. That's sports. Rick Lozano here with all the weekend highlights. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning on KLOS Radio. See you then.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
You bet.
Coming up soon, Gary Franklin reports on the controversy over Lisa Bonet's X-rated movie. But next up, our man Johnny Mountain with a look at a busy weekend on the weather front. Johnny's next. We got your wind, we got your rain, we got your sun, we got your cold temperatures, we got Johnny Mountain, and that's it.
Well, that's pretty much.
Thank you, Johnny.
Well, you know, we do have some wind out there, and I have some, so it's a good combination right now, and I just checked with them up there. The 25-mile-per-hour winds that we're talking about, it's only up at Mount Wilson. We're getting some wind up there. Other than that, LAX has about 10 miles an hour going right now. For us, it is going to be another cool night. Santa Monica, for everybody down there thinking, boy, it was cool overnight. It was. Officially, 39. Ooh, let's go outside right now, find out what we've got for you. We have got clear skies, 56 degrees. Humidity is at 29%. The wind currently is from the north at 12, and the pressure is at 30.11. Other things to show you, the official warm-up today was 70, overnight low 56. Sunrise Saturday morning. If you're going to pick a day, Saturday is probably going to be the best one for you, and we'll show you why in just a second. Sunrise at 6:32, sunset at 5:42. Now, this is the latest that we've got for you. The rain showers that we were expecting, well, they're to the north of us. As you can see, the green area here, all of that area, and way over in Arizona, New Mexico. 30 mile-per-hour winds there. Snow anywhere between 3 up to 8 inches of snow, maybe more than that at the higher elevations. You can see the better picture of it right there. But basically what is happening, or has been happening in the last day or so, again, we've been getting that windy, gusty wind, and as you can see, it's blowing us all cool right there in the coast. Now, low temperatures overnight around our area should be 40s across the country with that wind blowing and the snow moving into the eastern part of the country, the southeast for tomorrow, as those temperatures will be warming up into the 60s and 70s out our way. It'll be mostly in the 60s. It'll be cold along the northern section of the country, but you knew that, didn't you? All right, let's find out what our forecast is going to be. Below the passes and canyons, we're hanging on to this one. 20 to 30 miles per hour with a low tonight is expected to be 44 degrees. For Saturday, it looks like this. We're looking for the winds to decrease, a bit warmer tomorrow, maybe about 72. Some of the areas that we have forecasted for you, those temperatures should be about 70 in all areas. Air quality, of course, is good. We're looking for the deserts to warm up to about 68 tomorrow. Now, Sunday, the clouds are going to roll in, and we think by Monday there is a chance of showers. So that's why we're saying if you're planning outdoor activity, Saturday will be your best day. Expect some clouds on Sunday, rain on Monday.
A veritable potpourri of weather.
Yes. That was it.
Have a good weekend, John. You too. Jinx. Next up, Gary Franklin and the latest on the trouble stirred up over Bill Cosby's TV daughter and her new movie. Gary's next. There is a controversial movie about to be released starring one of the teenagers from the Cosby television program on NBC. But as Gary Franklin reports, the director has agreed to make one more edit so that X won't mark the spot. Gary?
Well, Paul, it's either a test of the motion picture industry's self-policing policies or a superb publicity ploy. Here's a lovemaking scene between Mickey Rourke and Lisa Bonet, the 19-year-old actress from The Cosby Show, in Alan Parker's new film, Angel Heart. Now, TriStar says it was dismayed when the Motion Picture Association gave that scene and the film an X rating, which can be deadly for box office. So director Parker is recutting the scene. Here's comment from him after we see a clip from another scene in Angel Heart. So.
No, no husband. No? You got beautiful eyes, Epiphany. You really do. They're truly beautiful. They're the kind of eyes that can tell just what's going on inside. Right now, you're scared.
I'll manage.
It's a love-making scene that turns into a nightmare. There's nothing within it that I would think frame by frame people haven't seen in other movies. I mean, it's explicit, but it doesn't involve full frontal nudity or anything like that. The cumulative effect of our filmmaking is very strong. I make no bones about that. But I think it's unfair to penalize us because of how well we do it.
Now, Lisa Bonet was arriving in Los Angeles today from the East, but the studio, TriStar, and probably NBC, too, made it impossible for us to get to her. And the questions remain. Was it art? Was it a publicity stunt? Or could it be that the, in my opinion, antiquated and irrelevant rating X was given not because the lovemaking was so hot, but maybe because it was, scope, interracial? See you on Sunday on the 6 o'clock Channel 7 News.
Okay, all right, Gary, thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
That's it for us. Nightline coming up next. Tonight, Ted Koppel talks with two members of the White House elite anti-terrorist group. Be sure to tune in tomorrow and Sunday for Eyewitness News at 6 and 11. For all of us here, though, thanks so much for watching. Have a good night and a terrific weekend.
#1 in Southern California.